Hi guys, Bob Mead, CEO and founder of iQagent. Today I want to show you what your first 15 minutes with iQagent would be like. One of the hallmarks of iQagent, it is extremely easy to use, it's off the shelf, it does not require any programming, no development, you don't have to have developers driving this. We're going to start out with getting the installation software, which you can get by registering on iQagent.com. Once we have it installed, we will create a point of interest with live data points coming from OPC UA, as well as documentations. We'll build a simple work instruction and we'll set up a push notifications, all in about 15 minutes. So let's get started. First thing you're going to do is go to iQagent.com. There's quite a bit of information on iQagent here. Just go to the demo link and click Get iQagent Enterprise and fill out the form at the bottom of the page and send it. As soon as we get it, we'll process it within 24 hours and we will send you a link to download the software. When you receive the iQagent installation files, copy it over to the server where you're going to install it. You're going to need a Microsoft 2012 R2 server OS or 2016 server. It comes as a zip package, so just right-click on it and extract. The zip file will contain a couple of files. One is your installation, and it's an executable, and the other is a quick installation guide. This installation guide will give you detailed instructions on how to perform the installation. To do the installation, we'll just double-click on the installer. We'll press Next and agree to the terms of the licensing. You can also see the release notes and go over them for the most recent changes. Typically, you'll leave all these boxes checked. We'll just hit Next and Install. When the configuration tool installs, you can choose where to install it. By default, it's at the inetpub iQagent web of your root OS drive. Or I can put it on a non-partition drive. So here I've got an E drive. I can make a new folder. And install there. And then we just choose Close. So during this section, Internet Information Services is being installed, so don't close these command windows. Just let them run and they'll close themselves when they're done. And finally, we're finished. Okay, so now we have our installation done. I'm just going to open a browser. I really like Chrome, but we also support Edge and Firefox, but not Internet Explorer. And I can just type in the IP address of the server where I installed iQagent. I'm actually not on that server anymore, so you can run the config tool from anywhere on the network as long as you have access. The config tool opens up to your POIs. You can see we have some tabs across the front. So devices is where you register your mobile devices, print QR codes, build your forms and workflows, AR steps for HoloLens, and admin. So on admin, this is where all your documentation is. So you can take a look in here, for instance, and see, how to create points of interest and groups and things like that. A lot of really good information. But I'm just going to go create a point of interest. I'll start by adding a group, and let's just call this Line 1 Production. And so now I've got a group, and under this group, I'm just going to add a POI. And let's just say it's a roll motor 3 and it's on line 1, station 6. I'll choose my default charting type for our data points as a line chart or a trend chart. And our default view mode, the POIs have both data and info. This is just which one shows up first. I'll do data and just click add point of interest. So now we have a point of interest. There's our QR code. So when we're done, we're going to print that out and put it onto the actual roll motor. And one of the new features we have for our info view is a drag and drop target. So I can just grab the files, the local files that I want. So I'll do a safety checklist, my movie test, maybe a manual. I can just drag these in and drop them, and they'll be created. I can also grab a URL, maybe from another open browser, and add that right in. That's to a cached document that's up on the internet. And we'll go down to our data view now. So our data view is where we put live data points from your automation system, PLCs, OPC servers, whatnot, that are relevant to this point of interest, in this case, a roll motor. I'll click Add, and you see we do OPC DA, UA, ODBC, and we also have a simulator. I'll just do OPC DA. It is local. We have KEPServe. And I've got some relevant data points here. I can just select all the ones that I want and click Add. All these will be added, and of course I can go in and edit these settings. So maybe we would want this to say power mode versus mode or something like this. This is a Boolean point. I could change my off color maybe to be red, and my on color maybe to be green, and just click Update. Okay. And we also, if we want to go change some of these file names, we can just do quick edit, and we can go in and just quickly change these, make these exactly like we want, and then just hit save. Okay, so now we have our point of interest. The next thing we want to do is register one of our mobile devices, scan the QR code, and see what the POI looks like. Okay, so the first mobile device I'm going to hook up is going to be my iPhone. So I'll go to the Devices tab, and I'm going to bring up my iPhone so you can see it. Here's my iPhone. I'm going to launch iQagent, and I'll hit this information button so I can get my token, and it's this 036 number here. So the first thing I need to do is add that, so an administrator is going to add it to the system. And I'll just call it an iPhone, and I'll just hit Add Device. So now that the device is registered, and show the auto configure feature, so basically once you've got it registered, you can go back to your mobile device, and I'll hit scan. And when I scan that and just say yes, it'll automatically connect me directly to this server, this iQagent server. And so let me just kind of move this over so I can see both of these at the same time. And I'll go over to the point of interest that we've created, and I'll just tap scan and scan it. There's the data points. It looks like I need to go back and do some formatting on my roll diameter and current and stuff like that. We can certainly do that. If I tap these get automatically added to my trend chart. Flip the POI over. Here's all my manuals. This is a pretty big manual, so it takes a few moments to come up, but there's my manual. I've got a video file. So we can play a video. We can pull up a parts list, zoom in on that. We could open this in CAD or maybe another application. Open up our SharePoint document. Okay, pretty simple stuff. Okay, so next we're going to add what we call a form. This can be an inspection data entry form, or it could be a work instruction, whatever you want. We'll just click Forms. I'll click New Form. And I'll add a heading, and we'll just call this Roll Motor Inspection. And we'll add, say, a logo at the top. So I'll upload a picture. Make it kind of small. And then I can just drag it right over the top of this. And if you click it, it just adds it to the bottom of the form. And so we'll add in a text box entry for the inspector's name. So you just click the gear icon and fill it out. So I'll do an inspector name. We'll make this required. We could do some other validation down here. I'll include it in the report summary. And just call that field inspector. We could also add a date. So I'll just update this to say inspection date. I'll just add a quick paragraph. And then we'll add another image, and maybe this image shows us some inspection points on the machine. So I'm going to upload another picture. So we got a picture that maybe shows our inspection points. Okay, and then we can just go ask them a question. So we'll do a radio group. And for our question, Was the inspection successful? We could do a yes, or we could do a no. So if it was not successful, we want them to enter Y. So we'll add a check group. And on our check group, we'll just, for our instructions, check all that apply. And then for our options, we'll just say cables loose, bad connection. We can just go add another option, stressed cable. And we only want to show this if they said no to was inspection successful. So we'll just do a display rule, which defines when this is displayed. So we just pick out our question, was the inspection successful? And we'll say no. And these are the rules by which it will show that, check all that apply. And then we can also add what we call an annotation, and we could allow them to take a picture of this. So here they can take a picture and draw on the equipment. And then we'll just add a signature box. Say inspector's signature. And then finally we will add a submit button. Okay. So then we're going to go up and we're going to save this as roll motor inspection. And I'll just hit save. So we can do a quick preview and see exactly what our form's going to look like. Okay. But what we want to do is go connect a copy of this form back to our point of interest. So we'll go back to POIs, back to our roll motor, and under info view we'll just do add form. And we'll pick our form. It'll give us a nice preview. And we have the ability to pre-populate, the field things if we want to. For this one, I didn't put a serial number, so we'll just leave that blank. But we'll just add the info. So then I'll just add my phone back into the view. Pull up iQagent. I'll go back and scan the POI. Flip this over, here's our form, and we can open this in our Forms app, which allows you to fill these out offline and gives it to you one step at a time, or you can just open it in a browser and we can fill out our form here. So we'll say Bob M, we can keep our date. It's showing me the areas of connection here. I'll say no. We'll just check everything here. And I will tap my annotated picture and take a photo. Let's take a picture of that. I'll use it, and then I can draw on it and maybe show where the areas are, and I just hit done. And then I can just sign the picture and submit it. Okay, once it's submitted, we could go back and view this. All this information is in the database, and so you can integrate it to your existing systems. Okay, now I want to show you another really useful feature of iQagent, which is called push notifications. And this means you can get notifications on your Android or iOS mobile device, or you can get an email when a data point that you have on a given point of interest, breaks some rule that you set. So the first thing that we want to do is go to our admin page and set up a notification group. And this is really just going to be a name. So let's just call this engineers. Okay. All right, and we'll just add that group. That's all we have to do here. And then we'll go to our devices. Now, if you remember, I registered my iPhone, so I'm just going to go to that device, and I'm going to put myself in the engineers group. And if I was going to send an email, then I would put my email address in here. But for now, we'll just do push notifications, and I'll just click Save Device. So now you can see we've got the little bell icon there that tells us that we have a notification group configured. So now I can go to my point of interest, and we will put this on the roll diameter. So I'll just click roll diameter and check notification enable. And then we have a bunch of operators: not equal to, less than, greater than, equal to. This is changed by more than, which is an absolute value. But let's just say that if the value of this roll diameter is greater than 102, somebody needs to go empty it or something like that, then we'll just do engineers and then I can just click update. Okay, so now I'm going to bring up my iPhone here. So now I'm going to pull up Kepware, running it on a virtual machine, and I can just set a synchronous write on this, and I'll just set it to 103. Hit apply, and coming back to view the iPhone, you can see that I've closed out iQagent from memory, and we'll wait for the notification. All right, so you can see the alert has come up. It's playing a sound. I can tap the notification. It will launch iQagent, give me the notification again, and I hit show POI, and it takes me right to the POI where that point is associated, and presumably I would have documentation on the point of interest to clear the alarm. So in closing, I just want to point out, from installation to your first POIs, 10 to 15 minutes. You can also do augmented reality scenes on the HoloLens or on iOS using ARKit. It is off the shelf, and as you saw in the last 15 minutes, if you can drive a computer, you can use this software. It does install on site. There is no subscription or cloud connection required, but we can be a cloud service if you want. It works with all devices that you have today, as well as the ones that you want to buy tomorrow. There are large household names already running iQagent all over the world. If you would like to get started, you can contact us at sales@iqagent.com or visit iqagent.com for more information. So that's all I have today. I really appreciate you watching. Again, I'm Bob Meads. You can find more information at iqagent.com or shoot me an email if you like. Thanks for watching.